You are staring at the screen for 15 minutes but your mind is a complete blank. Your working memory is overflowing like full RAM and the system is about to crash. Why did your focus just vanish? The system is full. Rest does not help because the problem is not exhaustion but a mechanical failure. Your nervous system is trapped in a cycle of processing too much data at once. Rest is not the answer. Your brain is blinded. To escape this mental freeze you must reset the way your brain filters reality. I call this the shutter sync method and it starts with your biological limits. Meet the shutter sync. Here is the map. First we will clear the cognitive symptoms of static and then we will rebuild your focus using the rule of one stream. No more missing frames. Stop missing your life. Look into the blink. Every time you switch tasks your brain physically blinks. This is the attentional blink and it causes you to miss up to 500 milliseconds of reality. You are literally blind. The gap is widening. Your prefrontal cortex can only process two high-level targets if they are separated by enough time. If they come too fast the second one disappears. Target 2 is gone. The buffer is full. Think of your working memory as a small bucket under a waterfall. When the flow is too fast the bucket overflows and everything else is lost forever. The bucket is too small, logic becomes noise. This is why you feel overwhelmed after 10 minutes of scrolling. You have forced your brain to blink thousands of times without any time to recover. Scrolling is a blink, the noise is winning. Cognitive load theory shows that we have a hard limit on how many items we can hold in our mind. Usually it is only 7 items, the number is 7, 7 or nothing. When you add the 8th item the entire structure of your attention begins to crumble. This is the moment you lose control over your focus. The 8th item kills, the crash is here. To stop the crash you must master the synchronization of your internal shutter. I call this the shutter sync method and it begins with radical cognitive pruning. Master the internal shutter, start the pruning. The secret is not doing more but seeing less. By reducing the number of targets you allow your brain to complete its biological processing cycle without interruption. Seeing less is power. Clear the cycle. In the next stages we will erase the static of your environment and then we will tune your focus to the exact frequency of deep work. Erase the mental static, tune the frequency. But first you must understand the dark interval. This is the precise moment when your consciousness physically disconnects from the outside world during a task switch. The dark interval exists. Mind the gap. Science calls this the attentional blink. When you identify one object your brain locks the gates to the second one for half a second to finish processing. The gates are locked for a reason. Imagine trying to take 2 photos with a camera that needs 500 milliseconds to save the first file. The second photo is never captured, the frame is broken, data is lost. This blink is why you cannot remember the last sentence you read if a notification popped up at the same time. The data was never saved, the data never saved. The fire of noise. The more stimuli you force into the blink the longer the blindness lasts. In a state of chronic overload you are effectively living in the dark. Living in the dark, the blindness grows. Your brain is not broken, it is just operating under an ancient biological protocol that was never designed for the digital firehose of information. Ancient brain digital world. The gear is stuck. To fix this we must first induce a state of cognitive silence. This is the first step of the shutter sync method to reset your RAM. Induce the silence, reset the RAM. Cognitive silence is not about emptying your mind but about reducing the incoming signal to a single thread of high-quality data. Silence is a single thread, the signal is pure. To achieve this you must first identify the ghost processes in your brain. These are the half-finished thoughts and open loops that drain your RAM. Find your ghost processes, kill the open loops. Every notification and every open tab acts like a parasite that steals a microsecond of your attention and triggers a new attentional blink. Notifications are parasites, they steal your time. The first technique is the 60-second buffer reset. You must close your eyes and visualize your working memory as a clean slate of dark stone. The 60-second reset, wipe the slate clean. By cutting off all external stimuli for 1 minute you allow the prefrontal cortex to finish its backlog of processing and refresh the attentional gate. Refresh the gate, the backlog is gone. Now we face the greatest lie of the modern era. Multitasking is not a superpower but a state of continuous partial attention that destroys your brain. Multitasking is a lie. It is cognitive suicide. When you think you are doing two things at once, your brain is actually jumping between them at a high cost of energy and accuracy. The cost of jumping, energy, is leaking. Each jump costs you 20% of your productive capacity. By the end of the hour you are operating with the intelligence of a tired child, losing 20%. The leak is fatal. True focus is a linear path. It is the ability to stay on one track until the work is finished and the gate is ready for the next target. Focus is a path. Stay on the track. In the next block we will build the architecture of deep work and teach you how to lock your attention into a single unbreakable stream. Build your architecture, lock the stream. The architecture of deep work begins with a radical environmental sweep. You must eliminate every secondary signal that competes for your limited cognitive resources. Sweep the secondary signals. The air is clear. To master the one-stream method you must treat your attention like a high-pressure water jet. Narrow the focus to increase the power of your execution. Focus is a laser. Pressure creates power. The first step of the algorithm is target isolation. You define one outcome and one path and you physically block all other visual entry points. Isolate the target, block the entries. Your brain can only handle one complex executive function at a time. Trying to plan and execute simultaneously is what triggers the attentional blink. Stop grinding the gears, separate the functions. This is the core secret. When you switch between planning and doing, you are forcing your prefrontal cortex to reboot its entire operating system every minute. The reboot is killing you. The secret is timing. The second step is the batching protocol. You do not switch tasks until the current cognitive cycle is fully closed and the result is saved. Close the cycle first, lock the result. This prevents the mental residue from the previous task from leaking into the next one and slowing down your overall processing speed. Stop the mental leak, keep the stream pure. The third step is the 5-minute buffer. Between major tasks you must return to the void of zero stimuli to flush your working memory. The 5-minute flush, empty the buffer. During this flush your brain organizes the data and clears the attentional blink for the next target. This is how you sustain focus for hours. Sustain focus for hours, ready for the next. In the next block we will analyze the most common mistakes that break this system and why your body might fight against the silence. The body fights silence. Avoid the collapse. The architecture of focus is fragile and the most dangerous mistake you can make is relying on sheer willpower to maintain the silence. Willpower is a trap. The ceiling is falling. Willpower is a finite resource that drains your battery faster than any other cognitive function. When it runs out, the red noise returns with a vengeance. Your battery is dying. The noise is waiting. Another fatal error is the false break. Checking your phone for 30 seconds is not a rest, it is a massive injection of new data into the blink. False breaks kill focus. The blink is triggered. Your brain does not see a difference between a work email and a social media post. To the prefrontal cortex it is all just high-priority noise. Data is just noise. The system is jammed. This is the point of doubt. You might feel that without the constant stimulation you are falling behind or missing something critical in the digital stream. The fear of missing. The abyss is calling. This feeling is an evolutionary relic. Your nervous system interprets the lack of information as a state of danger which triggers a cortisol spike. Silence feels like danger. The walls are moving. By understanding that this anxiety is just a biological glitch, you can stay in the void long enough for the system to actually recover. It is just a glitch. The void is safe. The hidden price of the one-stream method is the boredom. You must learn to sit with the boredom to allow the attentional gates to reset. Learn to be bored. Boredom is the reset. In this state of boredom your brain begins to prune the old neural pathways of distraction and builds the foundation for the next level of focus. Pruning the old paths, the foundation is set. Next we will dive into the scientific evidence that proves why this works and explore the mathematics of your attention span. The math of attention. Prove it with science. The limits of your focus are hard-coded into the prefrontal cortex. This region acts as a gatekeeper that can only process a finite amount of bits per second. Focus is hard-coded. Meet the gatekeeper. When the data flow exceeds 60 bits per second, the gatekeeper begins to drop frames. This is when the attentional blink turns from a microsecond into a total blackout. The 60-bit limit. The blackout begins. Neural imaging shows that during a blink the brain is physically incapable of registering a second target even if it is directly in front of your eyes. Incapable of seeing. The target is gone. Your brain uses dopamine to tag what is important. But in a state of chronic noise, the dopamine receptors become flooded and every signal feels like an emergency. Dopamine tags everything, everything is an emergency. This leads to a state of cognitive fragmentation. Your attention is no longer a solid beam but a shattered mirror reflecting 1,000 broken pieces of reality. The shattered mirror, reality is broken. The math of attention is brutal. Every time you check a new stimulus, you reset the 50-millisecond countdown to the next blink. You are choosing to be blind, the clock is ticking. But science also offers a solution. By slowing down the visual rate of change, you can force the prefrontal cortex back into a state of rhythmic synchronization. Slow the rate. This is why the shutter sync method works. It aligns your conscious intent with the biological speed of your neural processing hardware. Align your hardware, the gears are moving. When you sync your focus, you no longer fight against the blink. You move through the gaps of reality with the precision of a master architect. The master architect, move through the gaps. In the final block, we will integrate these scientific truths into a concrete plan of action that will reclaim 30% of your lost life. Reclaim 30%, the final plan. The math of your life is simple but terrifying. By failing to sync your attention, you are losing nearly 30% of your conscious experience to the blink. 30% of life lost, the ash of hours. Imagine waking up and realizing that 4 months of every year were spent in a state of digital blindness. This is the hidden tax of the attention glitch. 4 months of blindness, pay the hidden tax. But the transition starts now. You no longer see yourself as a victim of information but as the conscious architect of your own cognitive environment. You are the architect, build the new world. The shutter sync method is not a habit, it is a protocol. From this moment you treat your working memory as a sacred and limited space. Memory is a sacred space, defend the borders. Step 1 for the next 24 hours. You will implement the 60-second buffer reset after every single session of deep work without exception. The 24-hour challenge, reset after every session. Step 2. You will identify your 3 most frequent ghost processes and you will physically delete the triggers from your immediate visual field. Delete the ghost processes. Clear the visual field. Step 3. You will practice the one stream method by choosing one task and removing all other objects from your desk except for the tool of execution. The one stream practice. One tool, one task. By doing this, you are physically expanding the width of your attentional gate. You are teaching your brain to stop blinking and start seeing. Stop blinking, start seeing. The gate is open. The glitch is not your fault, but the cure is your responsibility. Today you choose to stop living in the gaps and start living in the light. Live in the light, the cure is yours. Synchronize your shutter. Reclaim your focus. The world is waiting for you to actually be there to see it. Synchronize your shutter, be there to see. True mastery of focus is not a destination but a continuous state of architectural maintenance within your own mind. Focus is a state, maintain the architecture. You have the tools to rebuild your reality. The shutter sync protocol is now part of your biological operating system. Your system is updated, the protocol is live. Do not let the digital noise pull you back into the gaps. Every choice to stay in the one stream is a victory for your consciousness. Victory for your consciousness. Stay in the stream. The blink is no longer your master. You are the observer who chooses what to see and what to ignore in this infinite data void. You are the observer, choose what to see. Now go and execute with the precision of a master architect. The world is finally clear and the gate is wide open. Execute with precision, the gate is open. In this video we broke down the attention glitch, why you can't focus for more than 15 minutes. In the next one we move to step B, the 0% noise protocol, how to silence your mind before 8 a.m. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Next, the 0% noise protocol. See you in the next video.